Ever wonder what's really behind the headlines? Or why certain theories just won't go away? Dive into the world of the No Name Podcast, your go-to podcast for unraveling the mysteries of conspiracies, politics, and everyday life. Each week, we blend our opinions, analysis, with some storytelling to uncover the hidden layers of our world. From the latest political intrigue to the most fascinating conspiracy theories, we bring you a balanced dose of skepticism and insight. Whether you're a seasoned critical thinker or just curious about the whispers that swirl around us, we offer a space where your questions are welcome, and your mind can wander freely. Tune in, spark your curiosity, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. The No Name Podcast, where every episode is a new chance to think critically and see the world through a different lens. Don't miss out, subscribe today and join the conversation.
Hey, I'm Jeremy.
What's up, everybody? It's Dustin.
And you know, it's your boy Trey.
We are starting this Monday with a bang today. We are going to talk about the New World Order.
Like how Alex said it. Pretty good. Pretty good.
We appreciate you coming with us this week and, coming alongside of us and listening to our rhetoric.
Yeah.
As we've sat here and pre-gamed this podcast for probably an hour. All the wives are like, "Oh my God, when are they ever coming home?"
Never.
Never. Daddy went out for a gallon of milk and he never came back.
Went out for a podcast.
Went out for a podcast and got stuck in Jeremy's basement. But no, it's we appreciate you listening to us and continue to support us. And I don't always say it because my kids make fun of me because I make fun of them. But smash that subscribe button.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, hit like, subscribe,
Come back for
share,
us. Share with your friends.
Man.
Tell them here are these crazy people. We've been kind of chit-chatting back and forth about the one world government, and
Man, we got a doozy for y'all today, for real.
just kind of our thoughts on where we're at with that, and kind of where we feel like we're going. So for me personally, what I've seen recently is a lot of the stuff with the World Health Organization and things like that have come out in the recent weeks, while we're all focused on Diddy and what's going on with that.
Baby oil.
1,000 bottles of oil.
700 dildos and 1,000 bottles.
Bieber. Poor Bieber.
Sideline. I feel bad
Bieber
for
is
that
scared
kid.
of that dude too.
I feel bad for that kid.
For real.
That
I actually really feel bad for him.
like when you look at what happened to that kid.
Yeah.
He was sold into that industry basically by his parents.
Yeah.
At the age of 14, and Diddy was his, mentor.
48 hours with Diddy or something like that.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for the documentary to come out so I can,
It will.
I can catch
eventually,
up.
one day.
Surviving
on
Diddy. Netflix got
Oh
it.
my gosh! Like that is going to be interesting because while all of that is going on, we've got all these sidebar meetings with the World Health Organization and everything else, which, I think me and Dustin touched on this a few weeks ago a little bit about how, not only do you have the one world government, but you've got the central currency. And all of these things kind of flow hand in hand. So that's kind of, of course, if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, we are going to sidebar. But that is kind of going to be the focus of where we try to stay today is where are we going with this? What is the intent? Who is doing it? Who's in charge? Who's pulling the puppet strings?
Yeah.
Where are the leaders? Who are the leaders? Who's in charge of coming up with all of these different things? And where are we going? What is the goal? Just kind of those kind of things. So, Dustin, Trey, I don't know who wants to,
I'll let Dustin start this one.
So me personally, I feel like with where this started, where this is going, it's obviously going to someone or one organization that's controlling everything. I know that we got into this right before the show started, but I don't believe the Constitution's real.
And that's what this is why they
I
start.
do not feel like the Bill of Rights are real.
What do you mean it's not real?
Well, you say, what do you mean real? It's in a museum.
We had to literally, we had to tell Dustin to shut up so we could start recording because I'm like, we've got to save this for the podcast.
Okay, explain real. Explain real.
It's a real document.
Okay. So for the people, he does this. That it does exist in somewhere one of those museums in DC.
Yes.
Okay.
It is a real document.
Okay, break it down.
I believe. Yes, I know it's a real document. The whole purpose behind it is fake.
Oh.
Okay, well, but has it always been fake or
Yes.
has it become fake?
No, it has always been fake. I believe it has always been fake.
Dustin dropping zingers.
Me personally, I believe that this whole one world government thing has been a thing for a long time.
Wait, so you think we in world? What you think in this one world government now?
Yes.
Break it down.
Yes. I believe we're in this one world government now. So I believe that we've been in this one world government for many decades. Okay. So, but over time, now they're getting more and more lax on the way that I had said in one of our previous episodes of they manipulate each generation into becoming weaker and weaker and weaker.
Right.
Okay.
Where they're being more able to control them little by little, manipulate them and how I want you to be. So since our generation now, if you can't see it, is so weak and so able to be manipulated that now they're coming forward with it and saying, we're going to be a little bit more open with this.
Well, see, I completely agree with you on the fact that we are definitely dumbing down every generation, but I think it's only been happening for the past 40 years-ish, maybe 30.
Yeah.
I think that it started, and then we have continued down that path for the past 30 to 40 years. I don't think it's been happening since the 1700s. I think that at one point we had enough morals as a country, as a society. I think we had enough want. You know, because if you look at history, we are the longest standing republic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, most republics only stand for 20, 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've been in this for several hundred years, and we're the longest standing. Everything else has crumbled within 20 to 30 years because, you know, you have, to me, what's happened over the past 30, 40 years start creeping in, and then little by little you have your freedom stripped away because the government has gotten so big that they realize they want to control several 100 million people. And they realize they can do it. You know, and I think, honestly, like I've said before, I think COVID was the nail in the coffin.
Right.
It's like, okay, let's push this as far as we can and see what we can get the people to do. And we fell right into it. And like I said, I'm just as guilty. The first 2 weeks of COVID, I was that person that was out there buying all the groceries. And like I said, had I known that toilet paper was an issue, I would have bought a lot of that too. But I was the one walking around Ingalls with 2 carts of groceries. I traveled literally 30 miles away from my house to find a grocery store that was not full. Mm-hmm. Like, I hit every grocery store between here and 30 miles from my house until I found one that I could actually get into, and I still waited like an hour to check out. Like,
I remember I went to a Publix, and I had 3 gallons of milk in my cart, and they told me I couldn't buy all 3 gallons.
Was that so? I went day of. When did you go?
Yeah, it wasn't day of.
Yeah, it was
so
a very
I-
different experience. I was
I went
in the
day
Dominican
of.
Republic. I was having a good time.
But let me
Like, I'm going down with this ship.
let me pull back a little bit and say the reason that I say this.
Okay, hang on one sec. Trey, what?
Yeah.
So I gave
Yeah.
where I think 30,
Let's
40
hear you
years.
now.
What is your?
I think the invention of the internet is really, I think, was a long game plan. I think once you're able to force feed so much information to people so swiftly, and you don't give us the opportunity to digest it and really be critical thinker, and then here we go, after that you format education to kind of zombify people in a way, right? Make us think similarly, to your point, and then you just continually do that. Then you got the internet, give them too much information, they don't know what to do with it. Then you have no balance and checks for the internet whatsoever. So anybody can post anything. Shout out to Wikipedia. Then
Okay.
and so you go there.
So you think that the whole manipulation's been happening since the creation of the
No. It's been on a scale that you're saying. I would say, has the government been lying us since its beginning? Absolutely. I believe that the government has never told the truth.
Oh, definitely.
About anything.
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but to say that, I unless you can, if you got to say that it's been one world, and the only reason I say that because then how do we fit these wars in? Explain that. So how do we like World War I and II? What if we are one world, one world order? Why do we want a war?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So that's the only thing.
I can't answer that. So I can't answer that. So you got me on that one. I can't answer that.
That's the only question I would have. That's the only thing I would say. Only because I don't see the benefit of us fighting each other if I'm on one world.
I guess to my answer to that could be of what I was saying a minute ago. So the generation now has gotten so lax, and they've gotten everybody to where they need them to be, to where now they can start coming more forward with it. To where way back then they had to hide things
for sure,
way better than they did now.
Yeah.
And honestly, they don't care about how many people.
But you want to know what's
They
changed
don't care
real
about
big?
how many people die.
What's changed in the past 4 or 5 years is they're pushing acceptance.
Yeah.
And they're saying if you're not accepting, then you're either a racist, a bigot, whatever.
Homophobic or
fill in the blank.
So I want to
If
go
you're
back.
not accepting, you're not allowed to have an opinion that opposes somebody else's. And if you do, then you're trash.
Yeah.
And fill in the blank on what that trash piece
maybe.
is.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that to me has been the really biggest push on kind of dumbing down the people, is they're trying to take away your opinion.
Yeah.
And when I grew up, it was, everybody has a butthole and everybody has an opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, just move on.
Yeah.
Who cares what somebody else thinks of you? You do you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do me. And at the end of the day, we'll all come together and eat dinner.
Right.
Yeah, like
And that's
100%.
But now you're not allowed
to. Can't be friends.
You're not allowed to do that anymore. And so, to your point, I think that it definitely brings in the whole where they're trying to take us as a society, which is kind of bringing it to that middle ground of this is who you are, this is who we are.
Well,
and
I'm
this is
getting
who
to
you're
that's
going
how
to
they
be.
control you. That's how they control you. But I feel like the reason I say they've been doing it from day one, is because if we look back at one world government or Illuminati or whatever you want to call it, or if we were going to say BlackRock and Illuminati / Illuminati.
He's going for the trifecta. He's
That's
trying to get
I
police
think they're
stated.
one and the same. Honestly, I think they're one and the same. So let's just say it all starts back with secret societies. I mean, really, dude, how long has secret societies been a thing? Like a
Templars and all that.
long time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, me and Trey have looked into
Thomas
a couple
Jefferson
different
was
secret
part
societies.
of a secret society, right? Look, was Thomas Jefferson part of a
Absolutely.
secret society?
All of them.
Everybody has.
Who signed
All
the
of them.
Constitution?
All the people who signed it.
Did Thomas Jefferson sign the Constitution?
No. I don't think he did. Did he?
Or he signed the Bill of Rights?
No.
He signed something.
Did he?
Thomas Jefferson signed.
What is it? Declaration of Independence? Did he sign that?
I don't know.
He signed one of those. One of those damn documents. Okay,
It had to be the
above-
Constitution.
look it up.
That's
He
above
signed
my
one of the.
history.
He signed
Yeah.
one of the three.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go. He signed one of the three.
He's
He's part of a secret
So
society.
you're saying because he was a part of the secret society that he this document that he signed is now part of that too?
I'm not saying that because he's part of a secret society. I'm saying it could be.
Okay.
So
Fair.
he's part of
Fair.
a secret society.
Fair.
What secret society was he a part of? If he was part of the secret society, then absolutely.
So you think there's a secret
the Constitution's fake?
So you think there's a secret society that's existed since the beginning?
Yes.
Like the beginning of what? America or beginning of England? Beginning of
America. I think it's been since the beginning of
then it would have
America.
had to came from England.
Yeah.
And then now we got to ask the bigger question: when did they start it?
Yeah. There you go. I don't know. Here's the deal. It's called a one world government.
See, okay. Here's. I always tell people. For me, the one world is to come.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be. I try to think of. It's a group of people who are very, 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 very obscenely rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care about anything else but their agenda. They have all these people, whether it's BlackRock or whoever it may be, they control our politicians, they control the food industry, they control everything that we do, right? If I'm one of those people, I tend to think that I will want something in place that would benefit me and my family forever, right? That's the goal of everybody, is make sure that your family can stay on top of whatever they can stay on top of, right? So the New World Order, the first thing I think, they get your mind mixed up. Like you said, the more passive we can make people. Think about it. We got guys who cannot start a fire, can't fix anything, can't figure anything out, and can't hammer anything, hammer their finger more than they do the nail, right? And then you have so you kind of weaken the men's society, because that's who's going to be doing the fight, and that's who's going to do the arguing. That's one. If I'm being honest, man, we're a little bit more rational. We can see through BS before. That's why you can't sell a man. They sell a woman on something. And I'm not being sexist in this, I hope, but that's how it is normally. Normally, when you go to a car salesman, who do they talk to? The woman. They don't talk to the man, because we kind of like, I'm not buying that.
We know which one of us three is sleeping on the couch.
I don't mind. They make couches very nice. But I say all that to say this.
It's okay. His wife doesn't listen to this podcast.
I'm gonna tell her to listen.
She's like, I hear Trey's voice enough.
That may be a thing. Actually, you're right. I just say all that to say this. I think they flood you with information, right? That's step one. Step two is, okay, let's get the money together. And one thing that COVID taught me, whether how you feel about it, is no way that I've never been to China. I've never been to Japan. But more recently, Japan did something intentional when they pulled the bonds or something. They called the bonds just to see, and they start tanking our stock market. Our money is so interconnected. It's already literally a couple of steps away from, and now they're trying to introduce blockchain, which all that does is further push the agenda of a one world government. And then people don't understand it, because we're getting so much other information, like you said, the Diddy. We like the more easy or simple. Even that's not even simple. We like the more funny issues, right? Because we already dealing with, I got to pay bills. So when you say Diddy going to jail, he got think about it. If I go to jail for whatever crime which they really haven't really said all the way, I think it was prostitution of state line, something like that. But they didn't lead with that. They didn't stay with that. What did they say? And they found $1,000 found baby oil. That took the story.
Well, sidebar, Costco has come out and said he did not buy those baby oils from there, like it was stated in the court case. Costco has come out and said that baby oil is not ours.
But you see, he bought it from Sam's.
Maybe he got it from Sam's Club.
But you see what I'm saying? Is the information though? It's the information.
I hear you. So here's the deal. I feel like it's part of, like you said, the richest.
Yeah,
the richest.
Yeah, we're not.
So who's the richest in England? The royal family.
They're broke. I think I saw a study that said they were broke. I saw a study that said they was broke. I mean, not a study, but a report.
Not back then.
Okay, no, definitely not back then.
So not back then. Not back then when it started.
Right.
Who was the richest here would have been the founding fathers.
Or Rockefeller.
Question. The royal family. Okay, I don't know how their economics work because we're not there.
They pay taxes.
Okay, they pay taxes.
To keep them there.
But what I'm saying is that so the royal family, which in the United States would be like the president, don't they consider the country money to be theirs?
No.
In the royal family, they don't?
In England?
Yes.
Charles? No, they have no power.
Okay.
They run by a parliament.
They're just run by, based off of royal status.
Right. And then
they don't really have power.
Their citizens pay taxes to keep them there.
Gotcha.
Because it's supposed to be for inspiration purposes.
I mean, at one point they did.
Yeah.
But not now.
Okay. But I'm saying, like, back then,
they just do that.
The original king,
country money was their money, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The king. They were the legitimate kings.
The reason they're called the royal family now is because of, obviously,
they know the line.
The bloodline.
The bloodline. They know the bloodline.
Right.
That's it.
Matter of fact, at one point when they was first, I guess this transfer of power was happening, and they will at least sit with the queen, or the queen who just died. They would sit with her and say, "Hey, this is what we're trying to do with the country. Do you think this would inspire the people?" And she would tell them no, because she had the heart of the people.
Hey, that's the name of my robot upstairs that vacuums the floor. Clean Elizabeth. So.
The queen's evil. I'm not sure.
Clean Elizabeth. That. I'm just saying that.
That's some catchy names right here.
I think we all three know that, right?
Why would you say she's evil?
The queen's
evil. Oh, that old lady wasn't evil.
That old lady's evil as hell.
She's dead now.
Anyway, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead.
No.
We'll get into that a different episode. But yeah, I mean,
So what? So so in your theory, no constitution. It doesn't.
I mean,
exist.
it's a real.
So
it's
what
a
are we?
real
So what are we
document.
following?
It's a real document.
I mean, it is a real document, but it's not because we tend to, as Americans, believe it's built on America's built on an idea. Okay, it's
America's
not real.
built on lies.
It's not real. Think about it. A country where you could do it. You want to.
I love.
Here it is.
Here's the deal. If I keep going the way that I'm going,
Yeah.
people are gonna think that I'm not a patriot. Obviously,
I mean, you can love this country,
I love
but I
it.
mean, you're borderline treading because you said the Constitution
I
on this.
understand.
You already
Listen now.
you lost some viewers. I know you did. Some people are gonna unfriend you tomorrow on
Listen.
Tuesday when they hear this.
I love America. I think we're the greatest country in the world.
You said it.
I think we're the greatest.
I love
country in the
America.
I think we're the greatest country in the world. All I'm saying is that this country, just like every other country, is built on a lie. Because
Wow.
all these, if you will hear me out,
I'm
quit
listening.
interrupting me.
I'm listening. I'm
This country's built on a lie.
okay.
Okay, just like every other country, because the people who are in charge of the one world government, they started all this. To them, it's a show, bro. Like it's.
So what's the end for them in your theory? Like what is? How
Well,
did you
it's
come?
Pretty soon you'll see, because they're now coming forward with it. And like I said, they're actually pushing it more and more and more to where it's out here in front of you,
Mhm.
where we're saying we're not hiding anymore. We're coming out, and pretty soon
This is
we're going to let it be known.
Your
We
version is
control
scary.
you. We control you, and you will do what we say, or this is the consequence.
So who do you think that is?
Who will leave?
I mean, I can't pinpoint out who I think that this is.
Do you think it's another country? This country? A
conglomerate?
It's a group
people?
of, yeah,
Or-
it's a group of.
So what, like the George Soros,
group.
BlackRock?
You have
what do
people
got?
here. You have people here. You have people there. You have people there. You have people there. It's a one world.
So
So you have a group of people. That's who controls everything.
Okay.
So like when they meet at the UN, I'm putting air quotes. Would it be these people that's sitting there like, hey, I'm talking on behalf of my country, but it's really these individuals?
Could be. I don't know. It could be that, or it could be. These are also puppets.
Oh, geez.
These are also our puppets. They're nothing.
I always thought it
It's
would
a
be the
show.
Swiss. That
It's a
started it.
show.
It's
It's a
the
show.
Swiss and their army knives that.
I really thought it would be. I don't, you know why? Because the Swiss controls the banks.
Right.
So I always thought that it
Well,
was.
I like
so
that.
the bank brings me in. So
Dang it!
let me say it. Okay. So
That's gonna put some ideas in my head, though.
I think that
Thank
the banks are really where this is. So again, I'm more of a 30, 40 years. We've been kind of heading into this, dumbing everybody down, getting rid of cash now.
I never have cash.
trying to hit
I got some in my
the,
pocket.
you got to, I mean, at this point, if you don't want people to know everything you're buying, I mean, it's crazy. Like, you go to,
Well, they still know what you're buying. They have cameras, don't they?
yeah, but I mean, you go to, I don't know, Richard's Sporting Goods. That's
Yep.
what we call it at my house instead of Dick's, but you go to Richard's Sporting Goods and you purchase.
When you go to
What's
Richards,
wrong, Trey?
when you go to Richards, I'm gonna ask you this question, Jeremy. When you go to Richards, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
They're tracking them. They know where you're in.
Sidebar. Okay, we were in Walmart one day of all places, right? And I think my son was probably like 4 or 5, and he's like, "Dad, I really want to go to Dick's. I want to go to Dick's. Dick's. I got to go to Dick's." And I'm like looking around at
Love Dick's.
people like looking at us, and I'm thinking, "Son, it's
Please.
called Richards.
It's Richards.
Okay? It's
You changed the name for them.
We're going to Richards." I'm like, you got this little kid just looking up at Dad talking about Dick's Sporting Goods.
You're
and I'm
very
like,
excited too.
we're going to Richards. But
Oh,
so
man.
anyway, you go there and you swipe your credit card, boom, done. They you spend $400, boom, you're on a list. They're looking to see what exactly you bought. And that's it. But yes, if you have your phone there, that's fine. That doesn't matter. But when you swipe your card,
They tell you
Okay.
what you bought.
they're telling you what you bought.
That's true.
Okay. So that's the difference. If you're paying cash, they have, they could track it down if they wanted, but are they doing that? I don't know. they probably are after listening to this podcast. They're definitely tracking us. But, before this, they were not. And so, but that's kind of where, so bringing it back into one world government, they have to start with money.
Yeah.
So central currency, which is currently being pushed.
Yeah.
Big time. Okay. Central currency, look it up. Okay. It even ties into the Great Reset. I don't know how much research you've ever done on the Great Reset, but if you look at the Great Reset, you should be, Dustin, you should be well schooled on the Great Reset. Okay,
yeah,
but
I need to look into it.
The Great Reset basically is trying to cancel out all of the world's governments and bring it back into one central government, one central ideology, one central all of it.
Oh, they are.
But how does that? Okay,
they are. They're working on that.
But how does that work when I hear that? So right, and then I'm looking at where we are net, like right now. How do you get Russia to bow down? How do you get Iran to bow down? How do you get North Korea to bow down?
Well, because they're already those people are already practicing what they want the world to do. So the United States currently is outside of those boundaries because we're not being governed by a dictator.
Right.
They're already used to it. That's where they want everybody to go.
Right.
So you don't have to get those folks to bow down to it because they're part of it.
But then they like, for instance, a lot of Middle Eastern countries are driven by the religion, right? So how would you get them to agree to a Christian version of that?
You don't get them to agree to a Christian version of it. They want you to agree to their version of it, which is the dictator in charge that controls religion, controls currency, controls all of it, controls your job. Yes, daddy government, what would you like me to go to work today? Would you like me to go work in the dry cleaning factory, or would you like me to go
1984, you're saying.
What's the name of this party that they hold every so often where all the leaders or something get together and like normal people wouldn't be invited there?
To all of them.
Shoot.
Yeah, I mean the World Health Organization.
I know what you're talking about. They get dressed up for it. They raise a whole bunch of money.
I can't think of the name of
Purge?
Oh,
I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, supposedly at one of these parties, I mean, it's been documented that some of the American politicians that are there have said that it'd be great, that it would be actually great if we would, transition to one of these styles of governments.
Right.
It'd be great. But they can't make it happen yet.
I mean, they will.
It will eventually
They
happen.
will.
So here's the deal, Trey. Like, I don't know how, to answer your question, I don't know how they would do it, but, I mean, we've talked biblically here before. Yeah. A lot of things that in the Bible have happened, that it says is going to happen. It's already happened. In the Bible, it speaks of a certain period of time. There's going to be peace on earth. There's going to be peace.
1,000-year millennial view.
There's going to be 1,000 years of peace. So at some point in time, all these governments are going to come together and say, yeah, we agree on this right here. It's going to happen. This is going to be it. That's your one world government.
See, I think I do believe it.
Now, I don't know if it's actually going to be peace. That'll be peace.
Because you're going to have people like us.
You can't take things literally.
You
cannot take things literally, people. That doesn't mean there's going to be peace on earth. There's going to be no fighting. There's going to be no disagreements. Everybody's going to be happy. That's not what that means. That means there's going to be no wars. There'll be 1,000 years of no wars. There'll be 1,000 years of no terrorist attacks. Whatever. Doesn't mean that there's not going to be 1,000 years of communism. Jesus Christ. 1,000 years of slavery. Doesn't mean that. It means there's going to be 1,000 years of no wars.
Right.
So you can't take things literally. But what I'm saying is it says it right there. And if we've already said, yes, biblically, things have been said in the Bible that has happened, then don't pick and choose, man.
Right. It would probably be, it depends on your millennial view too, because like I'm a mill and I'm kind of like, I take that as figuratively more so.
Yeah.
But I don't know for sure. So I always tell people, like you said, I could be completely wrong. And I'm content with that. But I like, to your point is, in my head, I'm trying to, I guess my creative side of me is trying to say, how would I, if I'm a world leader, let's say they called y'all They called one of us off this podcast to participate in how to usher in the new world.
That ain't
order.
happening.
You don't know. You have no idea what they
ain't
have.
happening.
You don't know the plans they have for you.
Well, I mean, they may call us out, but it ain't going to be to help out.
How would you usher if you had the opportunity to usher in the new world order, one government? How would you do it ideally in this environment? That's, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Personally,
what should we be watching out for?
Me personally, I feel like there's already this happening, and they've already said, okay, so in Korea,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be this. You're supposed to go by these orders. So I need you to be like this.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I need you to be like this. I need you to be that for now.
It was
Eventually.
everybody, not just.
Yeah. So I'm just
Okay.
saying, eventually, this is what you're supposed to go by.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Here's the scripts.
There's going to be a time where eventually we're going to come together.
And just blend it.
I don't think they've gotten there yet.
so
Obviously, they haven't gotten there yet. But
Right,
I'm
right.
saying they haven't gotten there yet to know when it is time
To bring it all together.
to bring it all together.
to answer your
But
question,
they've been working on this for a long time. Man.
To answer your question, if I had the opportunity to sit at that table, I would just say no. Like,
No,
you would
man,
be
you
doing-
gotta
like,
participate. You gotta participate.
Well,
I'm
then
happy
you would
to
no longer be
participate.
at that table.
I would. I'm happy
And not
to
alive,
participate.
by the way.
Alive.
What is why do we need it? Like, the whole point of having a United States, of having a Russia, of having a North Korea, of having a Mexico, of, fill in the blank. The whole point is that we can choose where do we want to have citizenship. If I want to become a citizen of Switzerland, I could go try to become a Switzerland. If I want to try to, but that's the whole thing. Like, that's
There is
how,
no more citizenship.
But that's how it should
That's
be.
how it should be.
That's
Jeremy.
how it should.
Morally speaking, you're correct. That's how it should be.
But if you look at the just look at the United States alone. Okay, even with the overturn of Roe v. Wade, if I want to have an abortion in, within 1 week, I'm safe pretty much everywhere.
Right.
Okay, but if I want to have an abortion up to 9 months, I'm moving to New York because it's now the state's decision. So when you live in the United States, you are allowed to be governed by not only the federal law, but also state law.
Yeah.
So if I don't like what's going on in Georgia, move. If I don't like what's going on in Michigan, move. If I don't like what's going on in Alabama, move. It doesn't matter which state you're in. You have the ability to pack up your family and roll out.
Well, see,
And if they're trying to do a whole, one world government, that's to me, that's my biggest problem with it, is because I'm in the United States. I've chosen to stay in the United States because I like the freedom, or what little we have left.
well, I was going to say, I think that they see the problem with the United States is there are different laws in each state. They see that. Okay, they're trying to rectify that now. If you look at what's going on in the government now, they're trying to rectify that now. They're trying to fix it now to where they take certain freedoms away from states and put it in the federal's hands.
Right.
Okay, they're trying to do that.
And see, I would say, to Jared's point, okay, it's like, okay, the purge. We joke with the purge, right? and I said we joke. We don't want it to happen, okay? But nevertheless, is in the movie The Purge, is you had the rich people. What would they do when it's time for the purge? They was getting out of there. They was able to catch a flight or drive to Canada, I guess. I don't have no idea where rich people go when they want to avoid violence, okay? All the poor folks had to deal with the 6 or 8 hours of, how was it, 12 hours?
12 hours.
12 hours of crazy, right? And all I'm saying is, if I was the usher, these are the two ways I see the new world order starting. Something massive happening similar to COVID, where people are.
Hold on, correction. It's already started.
I mean,
Now
okay.
continue.
In my world, it has not started yet. I would hate for it. It may have been. It may be. I can't. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I'll caveat Dustin in here. If it's already started, to usher it in further, you do a samples. COVID would be a sample for me. Let me see what we can take
Right.
and fear. So, and then watch this. I think 2001 was a sample. for America.
Absolutely.
Which is, what are they willing to give up for the name of freedom or protection?
And how many people signed up for the Patriot Act? Oh, this
everybody.
is the best thing ever.
Everybody.
Absolutely insanity.
Everybody.
Absolutely. And I probably.
I mean, we didn't. We was so we was kids.
I was going to say we were kids at the time.
Yeah,
and maybe I was on board with it. I don't even know. I don't remember, honestly. But, I know as I got older, I thought, holy smokes, this was the worst thing that could have ever happened.
Well, they did it correctly. They introduced it in such a vulnerable time.
But I mean,
that's what you do.
That's what they always do.
That's what you do.
Who was it? Hillary Clinton said, "Don't let a bad crisis go to waste." You'd be an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't let a crisis go to waste. I mean, I can't remember who.
I mean, if and so watch this. To your point, is the first way I would do it, which is on the back of something. And I probably would have started at something like release Ebola or what's it, measles or anthrax, or I release some kind of virus that nobody can stop.
Right.
And it's gonna get the whole world. And I will. Then you watch this. If you got a virus that can kill everybody, then you can wipe out a good chunk of your world leaders, and then have these other countries who dictator type use countries.
Right.
We don't have a leader. Well, let me lead you because we getting through this, and I'm not getting sick because I'm not weak, and I can do whatever. Right. That would be my first way. The second way, one thing I would do is, hypothetically here, pick it back in on two theories here. It is some little alien activity that comes through, and they get scared because people do things out of fear, and there really is some aliens here, and they say we're coming back to F y'all up. How fast, if we all knew that, not us per se, but people, and generally speaking, would they give up and waive every freedom
right
to prevent themselves for safety?
Yep.
For safety and food. You gotta eat, you gotta feel, and I'm like, bro, we could just go back and live in the woods. We y'all do realize we didn't need this. We need houses and podcasts. We didn't need this stuff before. We were doing all right. Our biggest threat was a bear or a lion.
Or
come
Bigfoot,
on, bro. Or Bigfoot. Come on,
Bigfoot.
Stealing the children.
Don't get me started on Bigfoot.
Stealing the children. Jeremy, don't crank dust it up.
Don't get me started on Bigfoot. I'm already rolling right now with the one world government.
I can't wait to hear what people say about him in the Constitution. They go.
But I mean, to your point, we haven't
bring it, and honestly, it's the truth. It's the truth. It is 100% a facade.
But I mean,
it is a facade.
To your point, Trey, we haven't had a leader for the past 3 years. I don't care what side of the fence you sit on. We have not had a leader for the past 3 years, and look what has happened in the world. We've got.
He's not even real.
We've got world.
Oh my.
We have world unrest, and I think that that's the product of your Russia, Ukraine, Israel, all of that.
Yeah.
Like we have world unrest because. Although I don't fully agree with the United States being the world police.
Right.
However, we have a presence that basically says you will sit down and shut up.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've had that presence for a long time.
Well,
and now we don't.
I would beg to differ on this. I'll push back on you a little bit. I don't think we should be in everybody's business. Not when we.
I do not agree with that.
And I'm gonna say why. Until we get our stuff fixed.
Yeah.
Once we, because I think it was Teddy Roosevelt who he painted all the naval ships white and sailed them around the world. To me, I think that's badass. I like energy like that.
Well, now, I'll tell you this: Ukraine and Russia, we should have never stepped into that at all.
No.
Y'all want to duke it out? Hey, feel free. I mean, we're just going to sit here on the sidelines and watch the show because it doesn't involve us.
I'm gonna tell you why. We have to, because if you like anything about the '80s as far as the Cold War chess pieces they was doing with nations, we have to have a little say so in what Russia, how they gonna move. Only because Poland is there. But second thing is, any country, and this is how I feel, if whatever laws, not world laws that we put in place with NATO or whatever that will, and we say Ukraine can't have weapons, do you know what we volunteer ourselves to say? When you start to fight, we're gonna come do that. Watch this. Japan, same way. They nuked us. They got us, or they got us. And what do we say? When y'all get in trouble, we're here. Taiwan, the same thing. And watch this. It's cool when everybody is at peace, because then I can go help that person. But when everybody is fighting, watch this. Israel looking at us like, y'all gonna keep giving it to us, and we can't say no because we have to. Watch this. Our enemies are right there. So to your point, well, I do agree. I agree a lot, but I would say, if you want a new world order, then it really becomes, and this is why I get a little confused, is what if it's multiple versions of this?
There
What-
could be.
and what-
This is just one version. I'm
No,
throwing
I'm saying
out
like
there.
is it an American conglomerate that says we want this type of new world order? What if Putin and his team they have one? What if Kim Jong Un
No.
you don't think
They've already, in my opinion,
Uh-huh.
they've already come together and come to terms on what it is.
everybody?
Everybody.
Oh man,
That's why it's called one world.
but I'm saying
They've
like
come to terms.
what
with
if it's
it.
my
They've come to
world take
terms
over
with
your
it.
world and then it's one
Well,
world?
bro, they came to terms with this a long time ago. So I'm just saying they came to terms with this a long time ago. But to your point, what you were saying is, oh, I'm going to go help him out. I'm going to go help him out. They tell them, yeah, you can go and do that to save face.
Mhm. But you don't think they
That's what I
happen?
want you. That's what I want you to do. I want you to do that so that they don't catch on.
Wait,
what
hold
they're
on.
doing.
Hold on. Say that. Break it. What you wait? You trying to say like they not really helping them?
I mean, they're helping them, but they're doing it to save face.
Oh, you sound like America.
Yeah,
They're not really helping them.
they're not really helping anybody.
So
Brother, I'm telling you, man, it's all a facade. It's
so
all
what
a
is it?
facade.
Okay. So Dustin, I gotta ask.
I'm rolling right here.
Yeah, you are very much rolling. So right now in Israel, they probably launching missiles right now as we speak. People are actually dying.
Yes, they are.
So what are you?
But
what
what
are
I'm
you
saying is they don't care how many people die.
okay,
They
I'm with
don't.
you. I'm with you. All right, we know that.
Okay,
we know that.
that from when they created COVID.
Okay,
They
right,
didn't
right.
care how many people died from COVID to get what they wanted out there. They didn't care how many people died. They sacrificed those people.
So how do we? So, okay. So the average Joes like us.
Well, I'm an average Joe. What are you talking about?
But I'm saying like,
Joe the plumber.
what can you even do? Look, what's that movie?
They're
Red Dawn.
controlling everything. They control everything.
Have you seen the movie Red Dawn? Have y'all seen Red Dawn?
Yeah.
Okay, you remember like the Chinese or something? I guess it was the Chinese government attacked us and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
dropping balloons and in my mind, because I still think as America as a Western film. Is we shoot questions, we shoot first, and we ask questions later. We don't really care. And I think we kind of set a tone. To your point, Jeremy, is we set a tone for America, for the rest of the world. Like this is how you handle business, right?
Yeah.
So Ukraine's gonna feel. I mean, not Ukraine, but Russia's gonna feel like, oh, y'all do this. Y'all been doing this.
Right.
So we're gonna do it. Now, granted, this is the question I have, which I don't understand, is if you knew that Ukraine became independent from Russia at whatever time it became, why didn't y'all allow them to have weaponry that if they over there fighting each other straight up, and then Ukraine says, look, we're losing and we need help, but you're not in NATO, you just straight, because you chose not to be. Hey, you gotta take that L because why do we need to get into it?
I mean, do you think we should be in NATO? Do you think we should be a part of the World Health Organization? Do you think we should be a part of all of these one world conglomerates? Like what? Or do you think we should just stay in our own lane?
I'm gonna be honest. Prior to 1944 and 45, I would say no, because what they did in the East didn't have nothing to do with us. Really, we were trying to figure out. For me, in my heritage, we trying to figure out civil rights. And I no, we didn't have time because if you remember, like I got a lot of uncles and great uncles and stuff like that fought in the war, and they said they felt like their country didn't lose. So I'm like, no, we had to figure us out first. That's how I am. Is we can't send I don't like the numbers that the media toss out, 8 billion here and 6 billion here, because then I'm like, hold on, bro, I'm looking at these bridges they ain't built around here. I'm looking at this education, like, where's this money coming from?
Right.
And so I have questions about that. But then when I'm looking at, to your point, is like I think it is considerably interesting for us to dive into some of the health issues simply because of my background and work and sharing information. I don't think we need to be in. I need to understand NATO a little bit better because right now the way we getting it from in America is we're paying for everything, and all the other countries like, good job, America, y'all got it. We'll help you late, like the family member, like, let's have stuff at Jeremy's house because it's so big and awesome. You're like, yo, are y'all gonna bring food? Nah, Jeremy, you got the food. Like that's how it's pitched to us, right? Like it's America.
That's how I understand it as a United States citizen.
I don't think that. I hope that's not right.
I mean, I hope not either. But I mean, is it? I don't know.
No, because Poland should be. England should have a more vested interest. Poland should have a better vested interest in this. All them France, because I have no idea what they're doing anymore for society besides ruining the Olympics.
I haven't heard anything about France in a long time.
That's what I'm saying. And they used to be a powerhouse. All I'm saying is, it's
When
other.
have they ever been a powerhouse?
I mean, they can't. For most people who don't know this,
remember France being able
when
to
we were
form.
fighting for our independence as a nation from England, France is the country we called upon to come help us. Now, they was late.
How long ago was that?
I'm just saying.
What year was that?
Hey, 77 something. Hey. I'm just saying we do thank the French people for throwing, and then even in World War 1 and 2, they held their own. But they was like, hey yo, we need some help. Now we losing, but they didn't go. They didn't do what I'm not gonna say. Some other nations got ran through. They didn't do that. They put up a fight. I don't know if they can fight now. I wouldn't trust them to fight now.
I definitely wouldn't trust them to fight now. I mean, I don't even know if their military is stronger than ours, and ours is pretty weak right now.
Why you say that? In a new, oh my God.
I will say, when it comes to the one world government, I think America is probably the most popular.
What you mean?
We're the most popular player in the one world government.
Like to run it?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you say that?
I'm just saying.
I disagree with that. I think it's got to be a dictator.
The reason I'm saying that is because I think that a lot of people still look at America as one of the strongest countries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So they're just one of the most popular.
Do y'all think
countries in the one world government?
Okay, I gotta ask this question because Jeremy said our military is weak. First of all, I gotta get that answer from you. But when I tend to think about America being strong, I'm not thinking about, be honest, Donald Trump or Kamala.
No.
Or Mr. Harry, I might have messed her first name, but I'm not thinking about them.
All that.
You know what I'm thinking about?
Anyway.
Is the backbreaking Americans who I know, we take stuff up every week, right? Our lives are hard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, especially middle class. Middle class has most of us have brought ourselves from poverty or dang near close to it to put ourselves decent, right?
Yeah.
And if you think you about to come over here and just take this from us free, you got another thing coming. I think when I think about, we're not going to be number one in education. We're not going to be number one in health. We know that. We don't. That's not stuff that's high on our list. That's not even the American dream. The American dream is not to be healthy. The American dream is break your back to get your family from here to there. Now, is that a healthy long-term solution? No, but that's if you can't mess with it. Yeah.
I got a question. What is America number one in?
Jails.
No, I'm being dead serious.
No, I'm being real. I think we're number one in imprisonment.
When it comes to education.
Oh, no, we're not number one.
When it comes to health care.
No.
When it comes to finances.
No. I mean, because we got everybody else in debt with us, so yeah.
Okay. When it comes to our economy.
No.
Okay. What are we number one in?
I just told you.
Jails?
Jails. We putting people in jail at high rates. We do that. Watch this. We also number one in guns.
Are you saying we're a police state?
I do have a political type question, but I'm gonna wait till off the air to ask.
Damn, Jeremy, I didn't think that question would come from you.
Jeremy, why? For real. Why do you think our army, our military has gotten weaker?
Because we've shrunk it down. We've shrunk the military down. We've shrunk the budget down. We've shrunk our artillery down. You know, the whole nine. It's been shrunk down from where it was. So if we were to get into a war right now, I truly feel like we would either have a lot of rebuilding to do or we'd be in trouble.
I think they're relying on them drones. I think we got a lot more drones than people think.
I mean, maybe they rely on the drones. Maybe they don't. But
drones,
the thing, the technology has changed a lot, but you still have to have boots on the ground. You still have to have people that are...
Jeremy, you're living in the past. We have AI now.
Well, listen.
We have robots.
When it comes to the one world government,
I can't tell you how much I've been told that. How much I've been told that in the past month is that I'm living in the past.
We have Terminator. We're going to invent Terminator, and we're going to be fine.
When it goes back to the New World Order, the one world government, it goes back to the past anyway. Okay? So I'm going to pull this back on topic just a little bit. I'm not saying we're off topic, but, I mean, we're not. But it all boils down to my opinion, if we're going to talk about Illuminati /
for sure.
/ BlackRock, because I think they're one and the same, like I said earlier. That also spans back to Freemasons and other.
Jeremy,
I'm only laughing at.
You're laughing. It's a nervous.
I'm only laughing at Trey because we've had
laugh.
some conversations about.
Jeremy's laugh is a nervous laugh.
No, I'm laughing because me and Trey have had some deep conversations about the Freemasons.
So the Freemasons are theoretically tied into Illuminati and whatever. which I think, like I said, Illuminati and BlackRock now are one and the same. Didn't used to be, but they are now. In my opinion, my sole opinion.
I'm glad you're claiming that by yourself.
I am. I'm claiming that by myself.
So yeah, go after Dustin.
Just I want everybody to know. I just want everybody to know if Dustin has a heart attack, he did not really have a heart attack.
I'm telling you right now. I'm like, he does. Which one of us kept saying it?
and if I have certain people come after me after this, I didn't do anything wrong. Just everybody knows.
Oh yes, you did.
But I think it boils down to that. I was saying, if we're going to look at the past, I think it boils back.
So do you think those secret societies that you named, they kind of over time, either they kind of formed,
They grew.
They grew, and then so are you think they working together now to kind of push the agenda?
Yes.
Which
They grew. They co-inspired. They've built this one huge organization, and because they are so rich and so powerful, they control everything. They control all the governments because they use all the governments as their puppets. From America's government to Russia's government to England's government to Canada's government to South America to Iran, Iraq, everybody.
So
they control all of them.
Would it be more beneficial for them to push this agenda a little bit faster than we getting it now?
No.
So it's still you think
They want to do it nice and slow because if they do it too fast, it's not. They want to do it nice and slow because nice and slow. They're like, okay, we're inching it in to where we can slowly take over everybody's freedoms little by little by
Well,
little.
that goes back to
where they do it on their own without me taking it from you. You just give it to me.
Well, that goes back to what I've been saying
Good
about
point.
how they're weakening
Each generation.
the kids.
Yeah, they
you're
weaken every
confusing-
generation.
Yeah, and at this point, we've confused the kids so much.
Let's just do it from this.
I mean,
Look at
when you start
1950s.
doing that,
Hey, let's just do it from this. Look at the 1950s. Look at the music and the TV shows from the 1950s. Then look at the 60s. Then look at the 70s.
I blame the 70s and
Look at the 80s. It got darker and darker and darker.
yeah.
Dead serious. Look at from the 1950s to for when you had the Temptations as a very popular band or group to 1999 when you had Marilyn Manson. Look at how dark it went from here to here.
That's very dark from my girl to whatever he sings.
let me tell you one of my favorite moments.
I'm not throwing out because I actually liked, and I'm just saying this. I actually liked some of Marilyn Manson's songs. I actually did back then because that's the music I listened to back then. But I'm just saying, like, look at that from how dark that was to now. Like,
I think one of my favorite moments was the VMAs when Marilyn Manson performed. This was back when MTV was worth watching. But, Marilyn Manson performed on the VMAs and Chris Rock was hosting. And I remember being a kid watching this, and Marilyn Manson gets up there and sings one of the songs or whatever. I don't even remember what it was. And Chris Rock, they cut to him after the performance, and he's just standing there with his mouth open. And he's like, we got to get your ass in church. It's like, everybody get your
Marilyn
ass
said,
in church.
and then Marilyn probably said, I am in church. I'm just not in your church.
Oh man.
But what I'm saying is that you look at how they just manipulated every generation over time. Look at how pure and happy and so happy that 1950s generation was. And you look at the vast difference in the generation of the 90s.
What
you think that's by just? Oh man, that's just because times changed.
No. I think to your point is I if we're gonna switch a little bit, push it in a new order, I would add something to it: money and food.
Yes.
So think about it. You poison the food, make it worse and worse and worse.
100%.
And then watch this.
I had this conversation with Jeremy a while back too. You look at, let's just go back from the 1950s to now. You look at the difference in mental health issues.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
You look at the difference in obesity.
Yep.
You look at the difference in the health issues that we have now. You look at the difference in everything.
Yep.
And you look at the difference in the foods. Look at the difference in the food. That's just one aspect.
Right.
Look at the difference in the foods. Let's look at the difference of the drinks that we drink. Let's look at the difference of the water.
Right.
Let's look at the difference of the air we breathe. Let's look at the difference of
What if they are pumping
all
stuff in there?
the other stuff that we're not talking about, the subliminal messages that's through our TV
These
shows, or
phones.
back then our
Yeah.
radio stations, back then our everything. I
Well,
mean,
I saw a meme a while back. It kind of made me laugh. It was that everything went wrong when we stopped smoking Marlboro Reds and started vaping strawberry cheesecake.
yeah, absolutely. But it goes back to MK Ultra. I don't know how much you guys know about MK Ultra. Do you guys know anything about MK
Nah,
Ultra?
break it down. I'm gonna have to
All
look into it.
So MK Ultra is also where our government figured out how to do mind control.
Mm.
They figured out how to do mind control because they got to thinking way back in the day of, okay, our prisoners of war, our guys in our in these POW camps, they're getting brainwashed by these other countries. Let's just say Japan or Vietnam or whatever. They're getting brainwashed. Well, maybe it would benefit us if we figure out how to brainwash people and manipulate their mind. So they actually, and you can look this up, it's a scientific proven thing where our scientists scientifically got people, American people,
To do stuff.
and they did these barbaric, tortured them and mentally tortured them. They even did it in our prisoners. They had our prisoners volunteer to be experiments. They experimented on our prisoners and say, okay, you guys are spending life in prison. How many of you would volunteer to let us do these scientific experiments on you? A bunch of them agreed. Okay? They ran these scientific experiments on them, brainwashed them, tortured them, and they manipulated their mind. They actually controlled them to manipulate them to do the things they wanted them to do. And this actually got shut down. It got shut down because it was so immoral and so inhumane. They shut them down and they tried to erase it from our history. It is. You can look it up.
So are you saying? Do you think they're doing it too? It's on a mass scale?
Yes. They figured out how to do it.
Didn't I send you a
They
video?
figured out how to do it, and they did it on a mass scale.
You see what
From all the way from the 1940s or 50s, all the way they're still doing it now. And people like us are completely blind to it, and we completely live our normal everyday life and just don't even acknowledge it.
You see me what about the music, but I'm trying to think like
I
this.
thought we had shared one about MK Ultra too.
I might have missed
Okay.
it if I did.
That's part of the one world government. I'm telling you guys, it's part of the one world government.
So if we go back
That's
to
how powerful our one world government is.
if we go back to biblical, right? Like you said,
Okay.
you say the 1,000 years, wherever you
Yeah.
feel, I'm gonna put out for my Christian fans out there, wherever you may be on this 1,000-year spectrum. What are the rebels like us are doing? Are we subdued? Are we taking the mark of the beast? Are we? In my mind, it's gonna be a fight. No one's gonna just like. I mean, okay, the mass majority are sheep. They're like, yes, please. But I know it's to be a group of people who be like,
Well,
F this.
Let me ask you this before you get into that. Okay, I'm gonna ask you this because I got asked this question by somebody at one point in time.
Okay.
And this is gonna be a very hard. I mean, it may not be a hard question for you. It may not be a hard question for you. It was a hard question for me. I got asked this question. When it comes time to take the mark of the beast,
Oh, jeez.
when it comes time to take the mark of the beast, if they were to say, if they're standing in front of you with a gun pointed to your child's head,
Jeez.
and they tell you, you take this mark, or I'm going to shoot your child right now in front of you, what are you going to do?
My child is dead.
Yeah.
I'm the kind of person I tell my family if the zombie apocalypse breaks out, I'm giving you 8 hours to make it back to the house before I leave. I have my emotion to things, and granted, if she was standing here and I heard her crying, it may be a little tougher decision.
And they're going to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to turn her with her facing you.
Yeah, I mean,
They're going to do that.
And I will look at her and say, I just need you to repeat after me. Say, I admit.
Well, they're not going to give you time to say all that.
Did you believe? I got to make sure you believe in Jesus. She's
They're
too.
not going to give you time to say all that, Trey.
Hey, you didn't believe in Jesus because you're about to die.
I'm just, and all joking aside, like I know that we're trying to be like, all seriousness. I'm being this dead serious. That's a very hard thing
for most people.
If most people were to face that,
they're taking the mark.
They're taking the mark.
And then they would bow down to this new world order.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like,
Jeremy, have you asked you that question?
The New World Order is such.
Don't ask me that question.
Oh man!
And honestly, the New World
Jeremy's
Order,
taking a mark.
The New World Order is so powerful. Yeah. They are so powerful But in saying that, they're also such big cowards.
The people who run it.
The people who run it.
Well, I mean, look,
They're such big cowards that they're doing all this behind the scenes instead of just coming right out in front of you and saying,
so
we control you in every way that you could possibly be controlled.
I know we've brought this up a few times, but wasn't it Columbine that the guy that was doing the shooting?
Yeah.
He was trying to tell people, "Do you believe in Jesus?"
Yep.
And
Yes,
if they
he
said
did.
yes,
Yes, he did.
shot him.
He did. Yes, he did.
So I mean, if you're in that position, what are you doing?
I'm saying yes, I do.
Yeah.
100%. So whenever I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
you can't take everything literal.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're going to say it to every single
No,
person in the
absolutely
world?
not.
Or was that just an aspect of they're doing it right then in that time? In that moment in time, that happened. So that we would say, check that off the books. That's already happened in the Bible.
Because when you say that, right, I think it will look different. I don't think it would be like you said, a gun to my kid's head asking me to take the mark. I think you know how they would get us. I think in a sneaky way, because like you're saying, they kind of cowardice with it. Is what do we don't read? Oh, I want this app. I don't read this. I don't care about all that. Except I'm trying to get on.
I accept.
I think that's where they're going to get us and say, "Hey, you accepted this." I'm like, no, I didn't. And they're going to pull out this contract where it says
Yes,
we have
you did
we,
right here on this
right.
date. This
We have the
time.
right to own you now.
Yeah.
It's just like that South Park episode. They had the, they talked about.
I love how you always quote South
Hey,
Park.
let me tell you, I told my wife there's a South Park episode for everything.
And
Okay,
it probably
and
is.
they had that human centipede episode
Oh.
where if
I've never watched that
if
movie,
you-
and I never want to
It-
watch that.
I didn't watch the movie, but I saw the episode of South Park where if you accepted the Apple terms and conditions, you were accepting becoming the human centipede. Okay,
Wow.
and let me tell you, it got me thinking. I want to read this thing, and then I saw it was like 1,000 pages long.
I'm trying
and I
to read
said,
it.
I don't.
I'm trying to read it. I couldn't do it. I was like, bro,
I'm like, is there any truth to this
Right.
human centipede episode? I ain't finding out. I guess we're just gonna roll with it at this point. But when you start talking about the one world order and what the the end result is going to be, I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be where we have to all sign off on it.
No.
It's going to be to the point of when the government signs off on it, we either fall in line or you're dead. And
They
that's
either
it.
take
It's
you
not-
out or they move you to a consecration camp or whatever it's called.
But if we know what that, see, I'm saying like, okay, great. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with anything y'all just said. I figured that would probably be the issue. But who are those freedom fighters? It's not going to be. It cannot be as easy
Your
as
freedom fighters are the people who truly believe, like, honestly, who are moral enough to say, no, I'm not letting you just take my freedom away and I'm not going to be a slave to you. Those are your freedom fighters.
But then
Yeah.
but freedom
I'm
fighters.
not going
have
to
to-
sit here and say, oh, it's just the Christians.
So
I'm not
so
gonna say
so
that.
so both I'm both y'all on guns, right?
Mhm.
Okay. In my thought process is
I have no guns. I lost them all in a
No,
boating
yep.
accident.
I gave all mine. I donated all mine.
all y'all are for pro gun rights.
I'm pro gun, yes.
There we go. Okay, there we go. I keep that just in case they come in.
For the record, all of mine got lost
I
in
have
Lake
none.
Lanier.
I have none.
ATFU.
I have a BB gun. That's it.
All right.
I don't have a BB
for all
gun.
For all the
I
weapons
have a
you do-
slingshot.
you do not have. If they came right now, New World Order has been instituted. I don't even know how it looks like. They say it's been instituted. You don't think that y'all would have y'all guns, the guns you don't have? They say these guns, you would amass these guns to defend yourself because you're not. Hey, we're gonna take Jeremy. We're gonna take your kids and put them in the,
They don't care.
I'll die trying.
Okay.
I'll be 50
Listen.
cents.
And that it would be bloodshed. I'm just,
I'll
it
be
would be
50 cents.
Listen,
It would be
they don't
okay.
care about bloodshed. The New
That's what I'm
World Order
saying.
doesn't care about bloodshed. They don't care if you own those guns or not, because at the end of the day, if they want them, they're going to come and take them. Eventually, the
Yep.
day's going to come where they're going to come and take
That's
them.
red coat all over.
They're
again.
giving you the opportunity now.
That goes
They're
back.
giving you the opportunity now to
that's-
surrender them.
But see, that to me that goes back. That's like what you call it,
Think about
history repeating itself because that's what the red coats were doing.
History
to-
always repeats
Right.
itself. History always repeats itself.
I'm going down. I'm
right
judo,
now,
I'm
they're
judo
giving.
chopping.
Right, think about it, Jeremy. Jeremy,
He's got a samurai
sitting there
sword.
laughing right now.
Yeah, y'all gonna see me. Shing, shing, shing. He just cut off two dudes' hands.
Does everybody just think I'm crazy right now?
No,
No,
not at all.
seriously.
I mean,
Listen,
I mean, sure, everyone. thinks
am
I'm
I
crazy.
right or am I? Tell me when I'm telling lies. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Right now, they're giving everybody the opportunity
Yeah.
to turn over their guns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they
They're
were always
giving
taking
everybody the opportunity right now.
And all they're gonna do is give
Just
them to the
surrender.
cartel.
Just surrender your
Exactly.
guns. Just
Yeah.
surrender your guns. Guns are bad. Guns are so bad.
Like I got
It's so bad.
like I told y'all
Guns are
before.
bad.
Is what scares me about the currency thing is remember that when America started her currency, we was backed by gold and silver, right? Gold rush sent America crazy. That's how the whole California and Arizona exists, right? That being said, what's backing our currency now? Nothing.
Right.
So that's to me, it's like you said, they are slow rolling. I agree. I'm like, we see it, but how do we stop it? There is no way to stop it.
You're never going to stop it.
We got
know, and they know
Fight
that
Club.
you can't stop it.
Fight Club. The first rule of Fight Club is
There we go.
Don't talk
Love
about
it is.
don't talk about Fight Club.
Don't talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
I'm going to talk about it.
Don't you?
I'm talking about it.
Oh, now you can't.
I'm talking about it.
What happens when you
And
talk about Fight Club? You get beat
at the
up.
end of the day, if you come after me, I don't even care.
But they see that like it's gonna
I
be sneaky.
don't.
It's gonna
I
be
don't.
sneaky.
I mean,
it's,
I don't.
It's,
I
it's,
don't.
it's gonna be like what back in
I
the day.
100% don't.
Break line
Because at the end of the day, I got life insurance. My family's going to be fine.
They want,
and I'm
but
ready
your
to
family
go.
wants your present,
And I'm ready to go.
and they may
So I
take
don't
that
care.
from your family though. They control the money.
They control everything.
They
Listen. at the
Your
end of the day-
family won't have to want for anything because daddy government will give them everything they need. It's
already
like,
do.
you know, because
why would you say that?
because if
In
you're
the new
doing a
world
one
order.
world government.
Okay, I got
The
you,
new
got you.
world
I got you.
order.
World order.
Got you,
Because
got you.
you know, that's the thing is like, you know, we had like a bunch of people at our house and my kids are like, yeah, I'm going to wait for the line to die down. I said, you might as well get in line now. It'll be just like getting your government cheese. Not, I mean, you might as well get in line now because you better get used to
Hey,
it.
that's
And my
one of the
kids look at me,
reasons-
they're like, yeah, you're probably right, Dad. I'm
Then
like,
they get in line.
exactly. They get in
in
line.
line.
They're like,
Oh,
I said, you might
geez.
as well get used to it. I said, daddy government's going to give you your cheese and bread and milk. You know, you better get in
If
line.
that.
That government cheese is one of the reasons that boys have breasts now.
That might be just regular cheese too.
No, that's
I mean-
the government cheese.
So
If you test government cheese is what?
They still give government
one
cheese now?
atom away from being plastic.
they still give that. I know I remember back in the 80s, people had
They
it.
get it in school.
Ew. School. I said they did a. You ever get a TikTok the school lunches? That drink is
But
nasty.
doesn't that tell you something? They
I-
give it in our schools.
I just feel like as an American people, as a group of people like ourselves who have this freedom to think, right, and have this freedom to ask these questions, we could be completely off, and we could be as crazy as people make us, right? That's fine. But at the same time, is not to be prepared for whatever's going to happen if it ever happens in our lifetime. To me, it's also foolish, right? So then I already know the vast majority of people, because I tend to have a very negative outlook on people, and I'm sorry to say that.
Not you, Trey. Come
Yeah.
on.
I tend to think like people are sheep.
Well,
And whatever's easy and more convenient, because that's the society that we live in. Like y'all said, and
too many easy buttons these days.
Jerry, Dustin, you killed it because you said from the 1950s they know they had to work. Our generation's participation trophy. Now this new generation, I don't even know what you call what they're getting because they just think they deserve to be rich. I'm like, where does money fall from? And so in my mind, I'm like, I see where you're going with this. Very much so in play. You see where the currency going. Very much in play. The food, they keep adding more poison and stuff that we can't pronounce in it, keeping us, especially in America, keeping us high blood pressure, diabetes at risk, right? And then, or to your point, mental health maybe even affecting some of those chemicals because it's chemistry.
Well, hey, look at
I
your
told
look at
Jeremy.
big,
I
look at
told
big
Jeremy.
pharma. So you've got big pharma that's also a big player in one world government. So big pharma also plays the role in your currency, your one world or government, and then you have them. So to me, I put them as number 3. They may be number 2 for all I
Keeping
know.
us sedated and drugged up.
Exactly, because you don't know what you're taking. You could be going to the pharmacy and getting your high blood pressure medicine, but who knows what's in it?
Right.
I mean, you could be
really
going
don't
and getting
know.
your flu shot. Who knows what's in
I
it?
really don't know.
You could be going and getting whatever, and you don't even know what's in it.
You don't know.
You don't know what ingredient is in there.
You
No
don't know
hope.
what's in it.
There's no hope.
All three. I don't know. Trey may know. Out of us 3 in here, do we know what's in the flu vaccine?
Okay, I'll share this with you. And I'm not going to say too much because I'm telling you right now, people do come up missing when they talk about this vaccine. All right? Bonafide. I'll tell y'all off mic.
The flu vaccine?
I'm going to tell you off mic. We can talk about another. I won't
Yeah,
talk about
we'll
it.
talk about it all.
But I'll let y'all talk about it all day.
Talk about it.
Okay? And that's one episode I miss. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you like this: I don't personally prescribe to getting it.
Okay.
Now,
That's all you need to say.
I'm not an anti-vaccine person. I do think it's some vaccine that do work and have eradicated some diseases.
That's all you need to say. You ain't gotta
But
say no more.
that one I'm not touching.
You ain't gotta
I
say
won't speak
anything
on
else.
it.
You ain't gotta say anything else.
That one scares me.
Let me tell you, I've gotten one flu vaccine in my life. I've gotten one flu vaccine in my life, and I don't know, that was probably like 6 years ago. And I happened to be in Publix, and they're like, "Hey, you can get a $10 gift card if you get a flu vaccine." And I'm like,
"Oh man,
hell.
you gave it up for
Yeah,
$10."
dude. I was like, "Oh hell, I'll go get one of those." You
Oh
know?
my god!
My kids will walk past there now, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, that's where you got shot. Remember?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "But I didn't make you get shot."
Hey, watch this New World Order. That's how they get Jeremy.
Yeah, $10 gift card, baby.
I'm
That's
gonna
how
say
cheap
this.
I am. Everybody calls me the Jew, you know?
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm not gonna say anything else the rest of this episode. I'm gonna leave it at this. The one world government already exists.
Mhm.
They just have not come out publicly with it yet. At least when you got China and you got North Korea and you got these other countries that are communists, at least they come out and are saying we are communists and our people listen to what we control them. We do what they say. These people are cowards and they do it all over the world. They control all of us all over the world. They control United States. They control North Korea already too, but they're allowed to say that they're communists. They control Russia. They control Europe.
Who is they?
I don't know who they are. I want to say I have no proof.
I want
I
to know.
have absolutely nothing.
What is
I have
your
no
opinion?
proof whatsoever of who they are.
And if you did, I wouldn't recommend saying it.
I have an opinion on who they are.
Will you share the opinion?
I am not going to share the opinion of who they are
I would definitely not.
just because Trey said not to.
I'm gonna advise.
I was
You
actually-
already said on a whole bunch of list of groups that
I was
known
gonna
to knock
say-
off people. Don't act nobody.
I'm going to say this.
I care for
was
you.
going to say, shut up, both of you. I was going to say who I think they are, but I'm not going to say who
Say
they
it.
are. I'm not going to say it.
That's,
Say it, the
I want to
people
see
wanna
you
know.
next week and next month and next year. Don't say it. You can say it to us off mic.
I'm not going to say it. But I have an opinion on who they are.
you
and I
can
think
say
a
it off
lot-
mic, and Apple's listening.
And I
so-
think a lot of other people, have the same opinion that I do. And I think everybody knows who my opinion is. That I don't have to say it.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, I think they control everything. I think they've been controlling it for years, if not decades. I think they've been controlling it for a long time. And I mean, they have it down. And then eventually, they're not going to be so subtle about it anymore. Eventually, things are going to play out to what they've been wanting it to play out, to where they can just unroll it and just put it all out there. Because it's been getting more and more and more in your face over the years.
Yeah.
well,
To where it
everything.
used to be just be hidden. To where it
Everything
was
is getting
so
in your face.
subtle. It was so subtle, and now they're putting it right in your face of what they're doing, and people are just accepting it because that's how they designed you to do. They've been doing it for decades, manipulating every generation over and over and over again, designing them and programming them to how they want them to be. And now they don't have to hide it as much anymore. Eventually, they're not going to have to hide it at all. And there's absolutely another question keeps getting asked. What can we do to stop it? What can we do? What can we do? You can't do anything to stop it.
That's very black and bleak.
You cannot do anything to stop it. The only thing you can do is if you are religious, is you can turn your life over and prepare yourself for after this is over.
Get
That's all you
Jesus
can
and
do.
die.
While you're getting killed
That's
in the
all you
process.
can do. You cannot stop. How are you going to stop it? How are you going to stop the government of United States, Russia, Europe, all these other? How are you going to stop?
Space.
How are you going to stop all of it, of every country? You cannot stop the entire world.
That is true. That's
You cannot stop. I don't care if we all lift up our voice and we rise up and we say we're going to
Viva Vendetta.
We're going to fight.
we can V for
You
Vendetta.
cannot
Yeah.
stop.
I think I can V for Vendetta something.
You can sit in front of a tank and you can stop it.
No.
You're absolutely right.
See, Viva Vendetta is I'm just going to be an inspiration to the freedom fighters. They would go out in there and fight,
Yeah.
and I would kill people behind the scenes.
They can stop. Okay. I'm gonna put this.
Can I have my dream?
You can have a dream. You can have a dream.
I don't want to live in a world where I can't fight
You don't want me.
anything.
You don't want me to.
We saw what happened to the other.
You don't
guy
want me to
that had a
step on your dream.
Oh,
Careful with that.
oh,
Careful with that. You don't
we
want to
just
be like
talked about
that.
that last
You don't want to
week,
be
huh?
like that guy.
You don't want me to step on your dream, do you?
no, but I know they would shoot me down.
But let me just say this.
Done.
I'm not going to
That
step
would be
on
an
your
official
dream.
assassination.
I
By
don't
that
want.
point,
I don't want to step on your dream. I just want to get this out there. Okay. You can rise up and you can get people to stand up and you can get people to fight and you can get people to believe in what you're saying. And because what you're saying is right.
Mhm.
Morally speaking, it is correct. You cannot fight this nation.
I mean, that's impossible.
You cannot fight this nation's army.
Now, what you're saying is true.
Listen, you can't fight this nation's army.
Mhm.
You can't fight that nation's army and that nation's army and that nation's army, especially when they all combine. When they all combine, you cannot beat that army. And that army is led by darkness. You cannot beat it.
Well,
Now get it. Now granted, you have the light behind you. I understand that.
It would have to be a God thing completely, huh?
But this world's going to end.
so
We know that. We know the outcome. This world's going to end.
hang on.
And this is a worldly battle. This isn't an eternal battle. This is a worldly battle.
Okay, so we're ending that conversation on that. Okay. All right. This episode has gone long, but I want to take 1 minute and say, okay,
Okay.
on the other side of
Okay.
maybe we're not heading toward. I don't
Okay.
agree, but what if there is one person, just one, who says, what if there's not a one world government? What if this is just, what do they call that? The economical cycle.
Mhm.
So you had the 60s, 70s, the free love era, where, and that was pre-technology. So now what if we're cycling 60s, 70s right now, where we're in the free love era, but with technology. So now we're far more advanced in that, to where you've got, all of your apps and all that stuff that allow you to connect with these people in a free love way. Okay. That's kind of morally taking the country down. So what if we're in that cycle right now and we just need, kind of like bell bottoms have come back, what if we just need morals to come back? What if we're not in one world government cycle, but because, I think every human being that lives in the United States officially can agree it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, that things are not the same as they were 20, 30 years ago.
Mhm.
But what if we're in a cycle of that? Is there any, if you take your whole theory of one world government out of it, is it possible that we're just in a economical cycle that as people have had enough, can we come out of it?
Yeah, I think it's possible. I think anything's possible.
Trey, you look like you're thinking hard.
He is.
I don't think.
I got to put cameras in the studio so we can get Trey's expressions sometimes.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think morally, economically, no, and morally, no. I don't think we can, and only because more people don't know how to critically think. To Dustin's point earlier, they have done us down so much.
Well, that's part of what this podcast, we're trying to
Break that
critical
mold.
theory.
But if
Thinking is just, trying to get people to think. So if you don't think we can come out of it, what's the next step?
crash,
Doom and gloom.
But it is.
What I was saying.
Okay, but if you
is.
crash, no, we're not talking one world government. Okay, so if we crashed,
Yeah.
what is the next step?
Rebuilding. You have to figure out
You
how
have
to
to
rebuild.
rebuild.
Right, so you do come out of it. I'm not saying we come out
Well,
of it unscathed.
What is your version of coming out of it? Because if
Great Depression.
okay,
It's gonna be worse
I
than that.
think
yeah,
if we're not doing the one world government, okay, let's say that somehow that's shut down. It doesn't exist.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we're currently moving in the way that we're moving as a society, and
Yeah.
I'm talking society,
only America based
okay,
only.
America based only. If we're moving how we are now, I think Great Depression is the next step,
I think
and
feel
which does
honest-
bring rebuilding.
Honestly, I feel like if we're moving in the direction we're moving now, if we're moving in the direction we're moving now, it's going to get worse than the Great Depression.
Oh, I'm not saying it gets better. But we can't. I don't personally, and I think that's what Trey is saying. I don't see where we just all of a sudden stop where we're at right now and we go up from here.
No.
We're not at rock bottom. We are not even close to rock bottom.
So are you saying we're going to hit rock bottom?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I would say,
So, rock bottom to me is anarchy.
Go ahead, Trey.
I would say half of us or quarter of us were anarch. I tend to believe. Think about this. What's the last great generation that we have? Baby boomers are pretty much the OGs. They dealt with a lot and they got it through, and they're more rich than we are. Right? Because the world played out well. They was set up for them to win. Okay. Generation X, they're strong. They understand the baby boomers. They don't care about technology. They'll get down with the TikTok and that, but they don't understand it. They just own it, and they own it looking weird. All right, all right. Millennials, we have the best of all worlds. We grew up with technology, but we know how to play outside without nothing. We still have our imagination, even as adults. I mean, look at this space.
But we get picked on by the Gen X.
We get picked on by Gen X because they think that we're softer than them. We're like, we are softer than y'all.
Well,
but we
I
can
think
switch it on though.
I think millennial needs to be split, honestly. I think the millennial generation, because of what we went through growing up, I think there's two millennial generations. I think you've got the early millennials, which I think all three of us fall into.
81.
And then I think you've got
the post-95 ones.
Exactly. Wow. And I think
the tweeners.
I think those folks are the ones that kind of start bringing into the Gen Z side of things, which we've talked about before, where you can't even get them to show up for an interview, much less the first day of work.
Right. Okay, so this is my question to you. Looking at that, let's say the baby boomers have died off. All right? Gen X is now old, so they're not doing much. Okay? That leaves the millennials, the last great hope generation.
Yeah.
Because we understand what you just said, how to hit rock bottom and get back up.
Right.
If we're old in this scenario,
it's done.
And that's what I don't think it happens.
You don't rebuild at that point.
We're 30 something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, at 50, do I feel like doing that?
What am I doing right now?
Light bulb? You think it'll go off on them?
Light bulb's going off.
For
that's what they have.
For Generation Z? They know what a light bulb is?
Get rid of the millennials. What they're going to unleash.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Millennials are gone.
Wipe us out and that's it.
Once millennials are gone,
we're not talking one world order.
We're not talking one world order.
I'm just saying for America.
That part of this episode is dead.
Right. Okay.
I think
we've moved on.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We become socialists. I think we become a socialist country.
I just needed to get that out there, Jeremy.
I think we become a socialist country with Gen Z. And potentially.
Potentially.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's
because is that how we're going to rebuild? Or we're going to rebuild?
Yeah, as communists. It'll be communist.
Socialist country.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'll be straight communist.
That's what that's what you're asking, right? How are we going to rebuild?
Right, because the point is that let's say one world government, we're only looking at United States.
Yeah.
Okay. And because to be honest with you, what you were saying at the very beginning of this episode was the fact that, we can't do anything until we fix ourselves.
Yeah.
And this country is broken.
Yes.
It has been broken, and by God, it is crumbling more by the day.
You know what's sad?
And until we can come together somehow, at least the majority of us, and say enough is enough, and that we don't rebuild. You know what? You're completely right. We don't rebuild until we can come together and say enough is enough, and it has to be the majority. And, maybe the three of us are helping foster that along. We get enough people listening.
If we get enough people listening, I'm telling people like and share. Anyway, you know what's the saddest part about this country breaking? Is it broke after Bill Clinton. To me, I feel like it broke after Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
It broke after Bill Clinton. And the reason I say that's the saddest part is because of much crap as I give the Clintons. It broke after Bill Clinton.
He did have a
Bill Clinton was actually a good president.
He was.
I mean, honestly, he's one of the best presidents we've had.
In our generation, in our lifetime.
But he did
in our lifetime.
So a lot of people don't know this, and I know what I'm about to say is going to sound real left. And he has a guy who helped him establish what he did was a very left. He's a very left guy, but he's very economically sound. And his theory of Bill Clinton was give the money to all the middle class. Rich, watch this, and I tell people it's the simple The trickle down tax thing does not work because rich people will keep their money. We know that. And kudos to all the people who can become rich. But if you give the money to all of us in the room who have kids and a family, and we try to make it, what are we doing with that money? Look at this space. You're spending it. And watch this. Who are you buying from outside of Facebook Marketplace, which is supporting small businesses or people who join the trade? 9 times out of 10, we're going to Walmart, we're going to Target, we're going to Costco's, we're going to give the money back to the rich people. Because you know what we don't do? We're not going to take our money together that we get back from the government, and I'm putting this in quotations, and say we're going to start our own Costco's. We're not doing that. I don't have time. I got a 5-year-old. We got kids, but we will say, you know what? Costco's already exists. I'm about to go. Watch this. Buy 30 rounds of toilet paper just in case COVID happened again.
Well, if you look at Bill,
My family makes fun of me because if you look at my garage, I've just got shelves and shelves of toilet paper. I'm like, I'm never going through that again.
And you hear me though?
What'd you
you
think?
look at Bill, he's one of the boys anyway, just likes women.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at Bill's flaws.
we can forgive you. We get money.
Look at Bill's biggest flaw. He likes women.
But that's the thing.
He did
about
not
it.
inhale though.
Yeah,
He did not
He did
inhale.
not inhale.
It doesn't. Remember this. If we got money in our pockets, we don't care how many times you get the thing topped off. We don't care because I'm rich. I got a bonus this week. I don't care what the president's doing. Keep the money coming in. I'm telling you, that's how people feel.
That's fair.
I'm not saying I don't feel that way. What I'm saying, shoot, I get extra $1,000 a month.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
I don't care what my president's doing.
well, I appreciate you guys telling, because I just wanted to give the other side of the view just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
I feel like
there is a
that's a
possibility.
really important part of our show that sometimes I guess does get left out is the other side.
Yeah.
You see, like we'll speak our side, and a lot of times we all three agree.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
On the
I
side.
completely agree.
But
in
let's look on the other side.
I completely agree with one world government just because of what I've seen with currency.
Yeah.
And, because like I said, currency is number one. But, do I think that it's possible we could be in this, recycle phase? It's possible. Again, like I've said before, I believe in what I physically see. And, I think like most people that are listening to this, that are around us, that we associate with, we're all going through this for the first time.
Yeah.
Every single human being that's alive and breathing right now is going through 2024 for the first time. Like everything that's going on right now in 2024 is the first time. We have not seen anything like this. We have not seen anything close to it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
And, so could it be anything? Yes. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea whatsoever. So, but, I think that's going to wrap it up for this. I appreciate everybody listening this week. And, listen next week. Listen to
Share.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe.
What do they say, Trey? You're more in the, you're youth guy.
What about
Smash that subscribe button.
smash that subscribe button? And then they normally, if you watch it, it's like they'll pop up, blink, blink, blink. It's like, thank you for harassing me with the subscribe button. So subscribe right now. Do it.
Share.
Well, thanks again, everybody, for listening.
New world order. NWO. Listen, the truth's out there. Read between the lines, people.